know the vibes. The dynamic duo is back. You're listening to the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K24. BJ, let me tell you one thing. NBA 2K24 is the best. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why, BJ?
I'm listening.
It's the only place in the world that right now, this second, you can go and see Giannis and Dame playing together. Because that happened. Let me tell you a few things. Number one, get your copy of 2K. It's linked in the description. Help support the show if you buy it through our link. These are the things I'm happy about. Number one, we finally are out of the saga of talking about Dame Lillard to Miami every day. Right? Number one, ticked off. We don't have to worry about it. Number two, Miami Heat fans are in a shambles right now, and I am loving every moment of it. And number three, every prediction for next season has just gone out the window. So BJ and myself are here to break it down for you. If you didn't know, Damian Lillard has been traded from the Portland Trail Blazers to the Milwaukee Bucks. That's the headline. There's lots of other moving pieces, which we're also going to dive into, but that is the headline of the trade. I was hosting a live stream today, shout out P45, and BJ called me. BJ doesn't even know it was during the live. I picked up the call. I said, you guys have got to take this call. And BJ was hyped. So I want you to share with the people your immediate reaction and your first thought, not like an analysis, but your first thought. Because when I first saw it, I thought it was one of those fake accounts. You know, like I thought, oh, they tricked us. What was your first reaction when you saw this news?
Well, my first reaction was, what a great trade for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Absolutely.
Basketball-wise. You know, you and I had just been discussing, and I said, well, there's one place where I think he probably could land, and I could see him playing, I think, you know, with Steph Curry. I think that was like, I could see that happening. Yeah. Talking about Giannis. But Giannis and Dame, that's right there. That's
as close to Steph as you're going to find anywhere in the world.
And I think it's a magnificent move by the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it works basketball wise. I think it works in retaining Giannis there in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. It opens their window now to, 3-4 year window now. I think it makes it very attractive for free agency. And I think now they're set to compete to win the final game of the season. So I was really fired up about it. It's very rarely do I get fired up about it, about trades and things that happen. But this was a trade that I said it works financially, it works basketball-wise, and it allows them to compete and win a championship. So I was very fired up about it. However, I do want to say I like what Portland did as well.
I like what Phoenix did as well, getting in on the action. We're going to go through it all, but let's start by breaking down the basketball fit. I want to ask you this question. Dame and Giannis is the best big and small duo we've seen since who?
Oh gosh.
Just on paper.
Woo, I'm going to tell you something.
When was the last time we saw a big and a guard this good on the same
Jamal Murray and Jokic were pretty darn good.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
So Jamal Murray and Jokic, they're going to have something to say. And right now, I'm going to say they are the best big and little combination in the NBA right now.
I respect it. But if you take it individually, right, and you look at the guard and you look at the big, because with all due respect to Jamal Murray, he had one of the best finals we've ever seen from a second option. But on paper, I'm talking about just on paper, he's not the all-star caliber player that Damian Lillard is. I'm talking about on paper.
He may not be as achieved, but let me tell you something. Jamal Murray's pretty good. Now, Jamal Murray.
I'm not discrediting him anyway. I'm just saying on paper, if you were to show this to someone who's not watched the NBA at all, this is pretty crazy.
Dame is 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". So you're looking at really a lead guard, a shooter.
He's pretty small. I don't know if he's 6'3" because I've met him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm giving him he's every bit of 6'1". He's every bit of 6 feet. 6'1". Okay, he's every bit of that. However, he plays much bigger. I mean, he'll dunk on you. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. No, he's. So I'm trying to think of, because Giannis is not a power forward. I mean, not a center. He's a power forward. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say they're probably the best inside-outside combination, Stockton Malone, because you're looking at Shaq. A power forward. Well, Kobe was 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Kobe, you know what I mean? Yeah.
But let's look at the basketball of it, right? Now, we were just talking on the show the other day about Giannis and this post-up game. You tell me, if Giannis posts you up and Dame Lillard is throwing the ball, how the hell are you going to try and help on Giannis? That's just not going to happen. Screen roll, Giannis is the roll man. That's just not going to happen. Inverted screen roll, Dame can set a screen for Giannis to attack downhill, and Dame flares to the three-point line. Good luck stopping that. There's just so many options now with those two, because Drew Holiday, as great as he was on the defensive end, offensively, Dame is a far superior player. Now, the thing I like about this as well is we spoke about this, I think, off camera the other day. This is going to free up Chris Middleton with the gravity that Dame and Giannis provide on the court. This might be the easiest season in terms of scoring the basketball Chris Middleton's had in a long time, because he's no longer the second option. He's the third option. So he should be, in theory, getting easier looks. And for Dame Lillard, I mean, he's never played with a player as good as Giannis. Respectfully, I don't think he's played with a big as good as Brook Lopez. I don't think, if you had to ask me between CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton, I don't think there's really that much in it. And do you know the biggest thing for me, if I'm not mistaken, you were just talking about the new coach in Milwaukee, Adrian Griffin. Am I right in thinking that Terry Stotts, Dame's former coach from Portland, is the assistant over there in Milwaukee now as well?
And I'm sure that played a big role in this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that played a big role in Coach Terry Stotts. And I just like what they did. Like, I love it when organizations push all of their chips to the middle of the table. And, and I was thinking, I was like, okay, I can't think of it. I just had a brain freeze here. The kid they got last year from Phoenix.
Jay Crowder.
Is he coming back there?
I think so.
Jay Crowder. And then I was thinking, I forgot about Bobby Portis.
Mm-hmm.
Or Bobby Portis, as you like to say.
Hey.
Robin Lopez. They got another 7-footer there. Is Malik Beasley? Is he still there? Is he under contract?
Let me pull up the depth chart right now.
Yeah, and I was thinking, I was like, if they got Jay Crowder and these guys here,
Malik Beasley.
I'm thinking they
Pat
have
Connaughton's there.
Yeah, they have a really, really nice team, lots of depth, and I like what they're doing. But I think the Damian Lillard fit is going to require everyone to figure out how to play with each other, right? Hopefully the health of Chris Middleton, because we can't forget that he's been out. Hopefully Damian Lillard, Dame, is going to be healthy. And if they're healthy, I just don't see anybody in the Eastern Conference. I don't. I think they're by far, they're the best team in the Eastern Conference. And as my son told me today, he said, Dad, he lives up in the Bay Area, goes to school up there. He said, Dad, I would love to see the Warriors and Milwaukee in the finals.
Ooh.
That was, and I thought, what, when the young people talk about the game, I mean, we talk every day, but very rarely does he lead off the conversation about the NBA.
Yeah.
And he was fired up, and his friends were fired up in the back going, okay, let's go. Dame and
Giannis.
Steph.
Steph and Draymond. I'm here for it.
So I was fired up about that.
As exciting as it is, and obviously makes them favorites in the Eastern Conference, losing Drew Holiday, one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, right, and adding Dame, one of the less qualified players on the defensive side of the ball. Is that a worry for you now, especially given Brook Lopez is getting older and he's got his injury history, and Chris Middleton as well? Is that a worry for you, that point of attack defense, and is Giannis going to have to clean up everyone's mess?
Well, you're gonna have to give up something to get. Look, Drew Holiday is an all-star caliber player. Okay, he's one of, if not the best defensive guard in the entire NBA. Okay,
second best.
So now, but you can also second best. Okay, I heard that.
You see what I did?
Yeah, I heard that. However, to get a player like Damian Lillard, you're going to have to give up something. So it's a give and a take. So now, can you put players like Jay Crowder, Malik Beasley, and other?
There might be more deals to come.
It might be more deals to come around. But listen, they won a championship with Drew Holiday, and he was a big reason why.
It's crazy.
He was a terrific player for them, and I'm sure
he did the interview 48 hours ago saying he wants to retire as a Milwaukee Buck.
Yeah, and this is the tough part of the business. But you have to do this. This is
100%.
what you have to do. You have to do this, and I know everyone, so, oh man, you start thinking of there's no loyalties. This is just part of the business. However, I think this is a win-win for everybody. If, in fact, the reports are there's some truth in those reports about a player like, Drew Holiday. If I'm Philadelphia or a team like that, if I'm your Celtics team like that, I'm looking at this guy saying, how do you get, because he is a championship caliber player on every, and Absolutely. He is a great guy, right? He's a great guy.
Every team in the NBA will be looking and thinking about ways to get Drew Holiday, right? Because now Portland will want to move him because the Bucks got Damian Lillard. We're going to talk about Phoenix in a sec, but the Blazers, in return for Damian Lillard, received Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Tumani Kamara, 2029 first round Bucks pick, and a Bucks pick swap.
Nice Obviously, job by the Trailblazers.
That
Very
for
nice.
Me is better than Tyler Herro and a second round pick or whatever.
Give the Portland Trailblazers front office, I thought, an A+. I thought they did a nice job. They were patient. They did a nice job, and I thought that was a good deal under the circumstances of what they were able to do. So give them their credit. I thought they did a very nice job. And this puts them in a position where they're going to have to compete. When I say have to compete, there's no more like, well, we're tanking or doing that stuff. This team is going to have to compete now because they should be or could be a playoff team.
They're very young, roster that they currently have. I mean, like looking at the projected lineups of Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, Shaden Sharp, Jeremy Grant got that extension, and I think when he's eligible to be moved, he's a player they'll look to move. And now DeAndre Ayton, I think I spoke about this on my stream the other day. You can watch it on twitch.tv/HoopGenius. DeAndre Ayton is a player, and we've seen flashes of, especially that run in 2021 to the finals where he looked like he could be the third best big man in the NBA. But it's just flashes. We've not seen it consistently, and he's looked disengaged. He had his disputes with Monty Williams, and we know he's not really been with the team in spirit, shall we say. He's been on the bench just in his own world. But now with a young team, he's going to get more touches on offense. He's not going to be an afterthought. He's going to be able to revitalize his career, so what to speak, even though he got that huge extension. He's already, BJ, on NBA 2K24, his player, he's already changed it to a Portland Trailblazers throwback jersey. The character that you create, he has changed his to a Portland Trailblazers jersey within an hour of the trade happening. So it's safe to say he's excited to be there. I think it could be a big year for him. I mean, I don't know how different it is.
I think him and
Nurkic and him, but
him and Scoot.
Yeah.
Yes. I think him and Scoot could be a really nice combination.
That's a number one and number two pick.
Yeah, I think that could be a really nice combination. Let's not forget Drew Holiday if he decides to stay there. I mean, this guy is here. Anthony Simons.
I think the likelihood is they move Drew Holiday though.
Yeah,
so many teams will be cool. I know their phone is ringing right now as we record this.
I'm sure there will be, however, easier said than done. But I think it's highly likely that they would. But I like what Portland did. I like what they've done. I like their roster. It's young. I think they have a great timeline where you can keep their core guys together to see what they got. Now, and so I like what they're doing up there.
I called this a win-win-win trade because the third team involved was the Phoenix Suns. They gave up DeAndre Ayton. In return, they've received Yusuf Nurkic, Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, and Grayson Allen. So for a team where we were concerned about their depth and their bench and whatnot, they now have a pretty deep roster compared to what they had at the very start of the summer.
Right.
How do you like this? Like, I feel like we could end up with like a Suns Bucks fight. Excuse me.
The Suns put together a team because they now, with their financial responsibility that they have, they had a big four that were making all over $100 million, right? You got Kevin Durant, Devin Booker,
Bradley
Beal, and then they had DeAndre Ayton. So I think they did a great job financially of getting some of that money off their books. at getting. I think they got 4 players back, right? I think they got 4 players, so they need depth. They need quality NBA players, which they got. They got a little shooting in Grayson Allen. I think will be a nice pickup for them. I think it's a win-win for all the teams. Because everyone, they assessed what their needs were, and they did a good job.
You've got Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Josh Okogie, Kevin Durant, and Yusuf Nurkic in your starting lineup. Then coming off the bench, you've got Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, Yuta Watanabe, Bates Diop, Drew Eubanks, Bol, Eric Gordon. I can't believe I forgot about Eric Gordon. Like, I think their roster is filled out very nicely for a team, especially under the financial constrictions that we have now. If you had to predict which team is going to go for Drew Holiday, because although the power dynamic in the NBA has shifted now, and the Bucks went from having the 4th best odds for the title to now being the clear-cut favorite, wherever Drew Holiday goes could also shift the odds of which team is favored to win the championship this year. You mentioned Philly, you mentioned Boston. It's tough now because Boston are a second apron team that they can't trade Brogdon straight up for Drew Holiday. They would have to include an Al Horford or a Time Lord, which, given the injury history of Porzingis and the lack of front court depth, I don't think would be a wise idea. But do you think that Philly would offload James Harden's contract and attach a bunch of picks to it in exchange for Drew Holiday?
I think at this stage of the game that you have to take a look at it if you're Philly. I'm not saying you do it, but you have to take a look at it, right? He is an all-star player. I think he would fit in Philly. I think him and Tyrese Maxey could play together. I think it adds to what their needs are. I think they just need really veteran leadership stability. I think he does that. I think he will for sure make them a better defensive team. And more importantly, I think he'll provide and give them leadership in what they're trying to do. I'm not saying this makes them better than Milwaukee. However, makes them more competitive for sure. So I like that. And if I were Portland, I would try to get him out of the Western Conference, because if he goes to the Clippers or somewhere like that, that's just going to make it tougher for them. But he is what I would consider an impact player. He's going to impact the bottom line. So get him out of the Western Conference, get him to the Eastern Conference, let them guys battle it out. They'll only see him a couple times a year, and then go from there. But if you keep him in the Western Conference and he goes to the Clippers or he goes to a team like that, because the West is going to be stacked. The West is going to be stacked.
I know the guards in the East are happy that they're not going to see Drew Holiday, but they might not be happy after the next move is made. A team that should go for him is the Miami Heat, because they've had a horrendous offseason. Their starting point guard is a 37-year-old Kyle Lowry, and their whole offseason was built around
who do you get? Who do you get? Tyler Hero? Who do you get?
This is the thing, because Miami they're going to have to move some salary then. Are you going to have to give up on Tyler Hero? Maybe. I don't know. They've got to do something though, because Pat Riley said the other day that he thinks they can win the East, but I don't know if they're even a playoff team anymore. Is that a hot take? They were in the play-in this year, and they've got worse.
I'm going to tell you something. The Miami Heat a year ago made the NBA Finals with undrafted players.
Okay,
anything is possible.
We can put context.
And none of
to
us,
that.
I didn't hear any of us at the beginning of the year saying Miami Heat's going to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, but none of us had, Giannis is going to break his back and the Knicks are going to be flooded with injuries, and then Jason Tatum's going to sprain his ankle in games.
Breaking whatever he broke. I still didn't have them beating your Celtics. I didn't have them.
Can I just say, they would not have beaten the Celtics. They lost 3 straight games, and then luckily for them in Game 7, Jason Tatum's ankle decided to snap, and Tatum tried to play the game on one ankle.
That's luck is part of the game.
Yeah.
So again,
but it's just context. Like when the Hawks got to the conference finals, they weren't a conference finals caliber team. They were a team who got lucky that Philadelphia self-imploded and other teams had injuries.
Mo, they were there. You and I are here. What other podcasts and other news outlets don't do. We are here to report the news.
Let me ask you this: what moves should Miami make if they're not going to sit tight with their roster?
Well, Miami, what they're going to have to do is figure out now how to reorganize themselves and say, how can we compete with the shakeup that has happened there in the Eastern Conference? This whole thing with Giannis and Dame Lillard Dame Lillard now has really shaken up everything in the Eastern Conference. They've made it now to where they are without question, the favorites. Now it's just about health. So you're going to need depth. You're going to need defensive-oriented guards, that's going to have to feint. That's going to have to guard Dame Lillard. Let's not forget about Chris Middleton. And, of course, we know Giannis and what he's capable of doing. So I think now with everything what has happened and has transpired here now within the last 24 hours, Miami is going to have to literally go in their bag and say, how can we compete? Because now things have changed. Every team now is looking at it as change. You're going to need, how are you going to defend screen roll now with Dame and Giannis?
You're not.
How are you good? You have to be very strategic in how you double team now with them.
Yep.
You're going to have to, right? You're not just going to leave Chris Middleton. You're not just going to leave Dame Lillard. You're not just going to leave a cutting Brook Lopez if he dives.
Or even a shooting Brook Lopez. He could shoot the ball with the best of them.
And here is my biggest concern. With whom are you going to double off of? You can't double Giannis with a guard. He's not big enough. That's going to leave Brook Lopez as the guy
or
who's
Bobby.
Going to be.
But even Bobby can hit them from the corner.
Bobby will shoot 35% or higher from corner three.
And so will Brook Lopez.
And Brook
There's
Lopez.
no one you can double off. There is no one.
That's what I'm saying. This is a big concern for me. So I think Miami is saying, okay, if this is what we got to do, this is the players we're going to have to do to match up, because you got to match up. So I think the whole thing with Dame now has everyone scrambling in the fact that they know now who the best team is. Before it was like, maybe it's Boston, maybe it's Philly, maybe it's Milwaukee, But now it's Milwaukee. They're head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yep.
And then we'll see, how it goes from there.
I mean, one thing that's interesting to me is there was a GQ thing, an interview with Dame Lillard, and he was reacting to fans' comments. And one of the fans said, I would love to see you play with Giannis. And he said he'd love that idea. And someone asked Giannis earlier this summer, who would he love to play with? He said Dame Lillard. When Giannis was captain of the All-Star team, his first pick in the All-Star draft was Dame Lillard. So Jimmy Butler jumped on Instagram afterwards to say that the Bucks should be investigated for tampering. Yet the Miami Heat were the team that Dame Lillard was trying to be moved to, and he didn't want to hear about tampering then. I'm loving the dismay of the Miami Heat fans. Did you hear the track that Dame put out to say farewell to the fans in Portland? He had it queued up and ready. As soon as the trade was announced.
I did not hear it. But I heard about it. But what I didn't hear it. How was it? I just heard that he released a track. I heard he released a track. I didn't hear the song. I'm
not listening to it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I respect Dame as a basketball player and as a rapper, but when he drops music, it's not like I'm rushing to go and listen to it. Like, if he says anything,
Dame is tough. Dame is tough on the mic.
Right.
I got to give him credit. Yeah. He's more than all right, Mo. He's pretty tough on the mic. I'm a hard critic, but he's pretty tough on the mic. He's pretty tough on the mic.
My boy M. Hunter dropped his album last week, so I've been listening to that. I've been digesting that. I've not got to Dame Lillard yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Give him a listen. He's worth a listen. He put it like this. He put it like this. He's an MC. He's an MC. I
don't know what the rap scene in Milwaukee is like, but
hey, no, we don't call it Milwaukee in the rap scene. We call it the Mill. So let's get there. Let's go. Mo. Milwaukee is not what we call it. I
think it's safe to say he already gets the title of the best rapper in the Mill. Right now.
Yeah, in the mill.
Think right now he's the hardest rapper in the mill. So I've not heard of another one.
Hey, Mo, you know what I mean? Represent. Hey, give them their respect now. The mill, they hype there. I come to my people in Milwaukee. They are fired up in the mill. They are fired up.
Which team in the East do you think is best geared up as it currently stands to cause problems for this new look Milwaukee Bucks?
Oh, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Why?
Oh, because they have bigs and they have guards.
They have two guards who aren't big and can't really defend all that well. So navigating that screen roll with those guards is going to be. How are you going to guard it?
But it's not like Dame and Chris Middleton are like defensive, all defensive players.
Oh,
That's what Drew Holiday on the other side of the ball is a star. He's an elite player. You know what I mean? He may not be the offensive player that Dame is, but defensively, you can argue that he is, well, I ain't gonna argue. He's one of the top 5 players in the NBA on the defensive side of the ball. Okay. Now, defensively, you have to be able to stop the ball. So as much as offensively we're excited about Dame, and as we should be, but someone's got to stop the other team's guards too. And right now, that's going to be a problem as I see currently with this Milwaukee team, because, it's not like Dame and these guys they're not like young bucks. You know what I mean? These guys are veterans. They're what we call savvy veterans right now. Their experience is going to carry them more, but I don't see them just chasing around, Donovan Mitchell and these guys and just shutting them down. Now, Drew Holiday, I could see that. Your guy, Marcus Smart, I could see that, making it tough for those guys. But, Garland and Donovan Mitchell, that's a tough matchup. And that's going to be a tough matchup for any guard, but I think it's going to be tough even for Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton.
There's one thing that springs to mind when I think about the new Milwaukee Bucks, and it's the defense of the other teams, and it's a barbecue chicken alert.
Okay.
I had to do it to be.
I know. I get it. I get it. But, I don't think it's going to be that easy, but I like their team. I like what they've done, Bo, but I still think someone is going to have to fill the gap with what Drew Holiday brought to the team.
Defensively.
Because defensively, he was magnificent. As great of a player as Giannis is on the defensive end, okay? You could have argued that Brook Lopez could have been a defensive player just a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone will tell you in the league, when you talk to coaches and players, Drew Holiday on the point of attack was exceptional. Okay. Okay. Not good. He is an exceptional player. Okay. And that's their point of attack. That's what made those other guys that great as and
that's what, like, when they won a championship, that's what shifted the finals. It's like when Drew just locked in defensively, Chris Paul couldn't do anything. Booker couldn't do anything.
Like, in the end, that's what, offense sells tickets and offense is fun. But if you're talking about winning that final game of the season, you better lock it. So I think right now, as much as we're talking about offensively, Damian Lillard, which he's going to be a phenomenal offensive player, where his biggest jump will be is we're going to see a better version on the defensive side, because if they're going to win, he has to do it.
But also, like, what if he tries really hard on defense and is like what Steph Curry did on their run to the most recent championship? You're like, listen, he's not the best defender in the world, but at least he can hold his own.
Steph Curry, biggest jump as a player, we talk about what he's done on offensive end, which we should. You ask anyone in this league, you can't attack Steph like you once could.
And here's
a better
thing,
defensive player now.
For Dame, he's now playing meaningful basketball again. I think he played one Christmas Day game the 11 years he was in Portland. Now he's playing more national television games than he's ever played. He's got a real chance for the first time ever in his career to actually get to the finals and actually win the finals, as you said.
I think this is great. This is great for him. This is great for Dame. I'm excited for him because you're right. But let me tell you something. This is going to be very difficult because he hasn't had an opportunity to play these level of meaningful games where now he's coming into a season where they're expecting him to at the very least get to the NBA Finals. But what we're really saying is we expect him to win it. So I think this is going to be new for him. I think there's going to be some bumps in the road, but the biggest challenge for him offensively, he'll be fine. He's going to be fine, right? Because think about it. You can't game plan you're not going to game plan anymore for Damian Lillard. The game plan is going for Giannis. So this guy is basically playing against one-on-one coverage. And we know no one can guard this guy one-on-one. Okay. So we know that. Okay. As you would say, it's barbecue chicken. However, the championship is going to be won on how many stops they're able to get on the other end. And that's going to start with Damian Lillard.
I'm going to be intrigued to see if they make any other pickups or any other trades for the rest of their roster.
Yeah, they probably will. They probably will. But you know what? Right now, they should be feeling good about it.
Yeah.
But Damian Lillard's biggest challenge now is to defensively to be better than average. How about that? How about I say that?
Yeah.
And he has the talent to do it. So it's
Anyone
not like
can
he
do
can't.
It's just effort.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited to see it. I'm very excited to see where Drew Holiday ends up, because that could once again shift things. If he ends up, you add Drew Holiday to the Celtics, we can see what happens. But we're going to be here with you through every step of the way. It's 2:30 in the morning right now as we record this, and I guarantee Drew Holiday gets traded before we even wake up for the next episode. But in the meantime, my people, appreciate you rocking with us. Subscribe to the Hoop Genius podcast on all platforms. Get your copy of NBA 2K right now from the description, because I'm about to go online and practice the pick and roll with Dame Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Till next time, my good people, you know the vibes. Get buckets.